Jasmine, hi there. It's Martin and Nick, and today we're going to talk about Rupert Street, which is a little two-bedroom terraced job in M26. So what I'm going to do first is just do a sweep through the particulars, and then we'll have a look at the feedback that's been given to us by Thomas Rodriguez. So the very first thing is that it's got this unpleasant.
Can you share screen?
Oh, I'm sorry. 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 There we go. We're back. Okay, you should see Martin now. Okay, yeah. So here we are. And so anyway, back to this, Jasmine. So it's got this finish on the front, which is really quite unpleasant. People don't like it. I don't like it. But you know what? It is what it is. Now, one of the issues I suspect is that the quality of the build isn't particularly good overall. And I'd quite like to have a look at some of the other houses on the street. So what I'm interested in is the quality of the brickwork. And anyway, so you've got this render outside. Okay, probably not a bad, I mean, it is what it is. It's ugly, but that's that. Now we have a fairly, well, the lighting, the photographs aren't great. Now, when estate agents do nice pictures, they use some camera tech to just really make it pop, but you know, not such good tech. A little bit of a leak in that ceiling there, not good. But overall, the laminate flooring looks okay. Nice to see they do some exercise. There's quite a lot going on out there. I'd quite like to have a look at that in a minute and just see what's going on with the streetscape. A little mark in the corner. I don't know what that is. Not very well done photographs, honestly. And you can see condensation and black market there. It's just people not leaving the window open to ventilate the room. Backyard looks okay, and there we are. All right, let's get into the next thing here. So we have these videos from Thomas, and I'm going to full screen this. There we are. All right. So the first thing is it's got this render. Now, in principle, it's a good thing because it just adds extra weatherproofing to the building. In practice, it's just rather ugly, isn't it? But there you go. Do people really care about this kind of thing? I don't know. I care, but maybe I'm just being a bit fussy. The thing is, as ever with these things,
the cars are okay, not really perfect, but it's
So but it's like, go on.
Small cars around the street, but everything is okay.
Yeah. It's yes, exactly. I mean, it's okay. So let's have a look at this next one. Make it big, and there we go. Down the stairs we go. He's got his
cat.
He's just got his videoing all messed up. Okay, fair enough. All you have to do is just turn your head, then you'll make sense of it.
Yeah.
It's kind of like nasty ceilings. I don't think these ceilings have ever been redone properly. So the issue, oh yeah, baby. Bring on the damp. Bring on the moldy damp. This house is a wreck. Now the issue here with that ceiling is, I'll show you, I'll go back here. If you look there, you see how there, let's see if I can pause. Let's go back there. Right, okay. You see this line here. Now, if this was a modern ceiling, plasterboard, it would just be a straight line. But because it's probably plaster and lath. Now, what's plaster and lath, you might ask? I'll show you. Plaster and lath is this stuff. And the problem with it is that it produces a fairly uneven texture. So you have strips of wood, and obviously the person uses a lime plaster, which is an old-fashioned type of plaster with Typically these use horsehair or some kind of hair in it to bind it together so it wouldn't crumble apart. But the catch is that this is what holds the plaster on, so it's very fragile. And whenever I look at old buildings, I'm very interested in whether it's ever had a deep renovation. So the deep renovation being, did they get rid of the plaster and lath in the property or not? And just by looking at that kind of texture, it's very uneven, and plasterboard doesn't do that. So that's kind of, I'm not that convinced about this. And the same with the other walls. I just think they're very rough looking. Great if you like texture and all of that goodness, but I don't really. It's not what I want from a property like this. Same story, more undulations in the ceiling. Quite old, double glazing. What's the EPC on this, Martin?
Doesn't have.
Well, I'm not surprised. Carpets all need replacing. I can tell you now, I'm unenamored with this property. I see quite a lot of these and I think, well, you know, it's okay. Some of them are actually have been, come on, go big. Why isn't it going big? Or let me just close that and I'll redo that. See if we can get some more size on it. Oh yeah, there we go. All right, there's the outside. Ooh, nasty cold day. Quite a nice backyard. It's like what I've noticed on some of these houses, they spend money on the fundamentals and then don't really do so much. I think
nothing serious, I think.
I don't know. Well, in theory, nothing serious, but
who knows?
They're all like they're all in one area. You know, I don't like this house. Anyway, moving on. So let's have a look.
That's why it's cheaper. It's only 110K.
Yeah, but I've seen other cheap houses which are basically good. So there's other little things like, for example, if the roof has been redone, then you know, what often happens is that properties get thorough renovations in their lifetime. Could be like 50 years ago, whatever. But this one, I just get the impression it's never had a really
look the cracks on the walls.
Yeah, it's all not really looking good, actually. I'm okay. Let's have a look at the next one. And here we go. Up we go. Okay, it's downloading. It won't take long to download.
Yeah, I just want to add that, yeah, the condition not perfect. The structural is not really perfect. The location is good.
Yeah, the problem. So if we look at these houses, so the first thing is, what are they? The cavity. They're reasonably well built. Go on.
I want to say that Jasmine had a house who owner disappeared, and it was on this street, but the number it was 26, I think. I'm not 100% sure for the number. So that's why she liked this house, because it was on the street where she's supposed to buy a property. But the cracks on the walls behind, it was only in the ground floor, but it have in the second floor, on the first floor, basically. So I'm not like,
yeah, I'm very unconvinced by this property. And so if we look here, so I'll just show you what I mean. So you see these lintels, nice big old lintels. Now these bricks, not great quality, but okay. And it's a solid brick wall, but it's a different development to this one because look, they're in different heights and they got different styles. And so really this is the ugly duckling. These houses are the ugly ducklings of the road. These brick arches, they're okay, but that brick quality, it's just it's okay. It's not great.
And plus, end of terrace, I will not, this whole end of terrace, I will just ignore.
So, but my point is that when I look at condition and I look at like how well built was the house, the answer is it wasn't well built. And that's why for me, I'm not feeling it at all with this property. And it's also got damp. So then the thing is, we don't know whether it's been damp proofed or not. Now, if it was, you would have holes down here. You'd have little marks down here.
Yeah, now on Street View it's red bricks, but on the photos and videos from Thomas, they are black. So they paint them. Maybe just to hide the damp.
You see the thing. So, okay. The thing with these kind of properties are that, yes, they're cheap, but the real trick is to find the property which has been fundamentally improved. So there are a few things to look out for, just so you know. So we said, so I think most of this is plaster and lath. It doesn't have any coving in it, for example. Now, if it was a nicely built Victorian house, it would have coving around the place. And obviously it's had this, but I just think they always went economy with the renovation on this property. There's nothing that tells me that this is well done. Like the way that ceiling, if you notice the way the shadows on the ceiling, it's all very undulated. I bet that's all plaster and lath. And it wouldn't, so that looks like retrospectively fitted coving, but the surface is too all over the place. Yeah, I don't like it very much. All right, anyway, let's get on to the rest of it. So, all right, capital growth, 21%. So it's a hot area. It's definitely a strong, quite a strong rental market, as ever, you would expect that. And yeah, so that's that. Over to you, Martin.
I want to say that Thomas add that there is a it's need refurbishment. He doesn't know the rent. He staying in the kitchen while it's dry. That's what he said. Bit of damp under the front bedroom window. So when I see a big damp like this, I'm just always like, huh.
Yeah, it's because water is seeping down onto the lintel and the window isn't sealed properly. So it's just going like that and going down onto it. But the catch is that if it just looking at these properties here, so you got this property, you got this property. Now, the difference is that with this one, you can see the brickwork. So if there's a problem, you can see what's going on. With this render, you can kind of see a problem. We saw that on the back of the house. We saw the cracking on the back. But with this stuff, it's basically a thick layer of stone covering the whole facade. Now, if we look at the depth of the lintel, or the lintel here, yeah, it's probably like 40 millimeters thick, maybe, the stone cladding. It's just too many potential issues lurking here for me. Anyway, over to you, Martin.
Okay. So I will.
So yeah, if you share screen, you'll bounce me out.
Yeah, I will share my screen. So basically, Rupert Street is here, this street. So when you zoom, there is no any issues with because the properties here doesn't have more than 20 meters away from the coal mining entrance. So I don't see any issues. The EPC it doesn't have, so it need to be made EPC because the number of properties 79. So I guess it's around ED. I think it will be D, but bottom.
Yeah,
D.
but if
surface water said that it's medium risk, and rivers, and this is the most important, it's very low. And if you open the map, like you can see that I don't see like a big issues. You can see on this street it have a lot of surface water, but I don't see as an issue.
It's a nice. I must say it is a nice location. It's a nice part of the world, but that's not a nice house.
Yeah, the house is like, that's why it's cheap.
Yeah, but cheap isn't good in this context at all.
Yeah, yeah. So I want to add the location is really nice. Like It's really central, like close to Radcliffe. You have a lot of stores that are walking only. You just need to walk like 5-7 minutes. You have like gas station. You have stores. You have schools as well. You have a lot of green space just in front, like easy access to fill some playground. Like the location is like really nice. That's my like the year of build I cannot see here. It doesn't have data. I think
it'll be 1880 or thereabouts. So the reason I say that is because of the type of brick they're using and also the style of lintel. So it would be in 1880 to about 1910, but probably earlier than later.
Sorry, get to open the right one close. But basically, I'm not like excited for this property because I don't want to spend your time, Jasmine, for this property and just go. If you bought it and after you have a lot of issues, to spend like 10-15K more for structural issues. And maybe because the most irritating me that doesn't have EPC. An old house like this without EPC is like terrible. And I think it will rent really nicely. For 110 asking, it will have around 7 yield or more, even with renovation. But I think
there's so much risk with it.
Yeah, I said that it will minimum 650. So I just think like if you spend 10K to renovate, like all the damp and make it better. So because the kitchen was nice, the bathroom is okay. So 650 by 12, and if you take it for 115, just saying, it will have 6.8. And plus, if you so.
But the issue is that, so on the counterpoint to this, the so if you stop.
No, just to add for sale.
Okay.
So like a nice, really, if you made it nice, like add the extension like this property, you can see it, the asking price for 145. So I think, as you can see, this 2-bedroom house, it's newer, but I'm just saying it can just one street ahead. If you make it really nice, the price will be much value, but do you want to go that and take the risk is the question. And if you really like the property, I will go with 115, not more than that.
You see that 2-bed terrace there for 120. Yeah. That's a good example of the kind of a comparable, and that's a much better property.
Yeah.
So the first thing, it's got high ceilings. Secondly, it's been renovated extensively at some point. And you can see that just by the type of renovation it's got. Yeah, it's just a fundamentally better property.
Yeah, so here is one other example. It's much better. I think this property is 125, 130 sold. But maybe on more, but it's much better. Like, and the structural work is better and everything is better. So
yeah, the whole trick with these renovation jobs is to find, so if you quit scratching, we'll just do the final round. So with these cheaper properties, firstly, the newer the better. So properties after 1900 up to about 1930, little terraced houses, they're okay. The closer to 1930, the better, just because they were built better. Then the next thing is for these kind of properties, looking to see if they've had a deep renovation, and you can tell by the quality of the ceilings. So if you have plaster and lath, it's got to go at some point. And also it's very prone to collapse. In other words, if somebody leaves a bath tap on or something like that, and it gets soggy, then the whole thing will collapse. And I know I've been there and I've seen it. Also, you've got the cladding on the outside. It hides all sorts of sins. And also it means the walls don't breathe. And also we don't know if it's a solid wall or a cavity wall. And then on the back of the house, you've got these nasty cracks all over the place in the render. And the only reason that's going to occur is because there's moisture in there and you've got a thawing cycle. So as a general rule of thumb, when one looks for these terraced houses, trick is to find the ones that have had a deep renovation at some point in the last 40 years. So it's plasterboard throughout. The roof has been replaced, so it's got felt underneath the. Now we can't see this because we're not going up into the roof, but just as a general pointer, those are okay because there's nothing. They're basically up together, as it were, on a fundamental level, and they just need a lot of tidying up. But people who don't know what they're looking at will go, "Oh, it's a wreck." But you know what? It isn't a wreck. Like there's another property we've seen, which is a 3-bed semi in somewhere, I can't remember, but it's really put a lot of people off because it looks like it's a wreck, but actually fundamentally it's sound. Whereas this property doesn't really look like it's a wreck, but fundamentally it's unsound, and that's why it's a no from me.
Yeah, I'm like disappointed, but it is what it is. Like,
yeah, well, that's why we're here, to help you avoid falling into traps, and this one, it feels to me like a trap. So
yeah.
Anyway,
it's not 100% sure it's this trap, but at least it have more chance to be trapped. So just avoid.
Yeah, well, the future for a property like this is that you would buy it, you would patch it up, because it would be too expensive to really do a proper deep renovation on it. So you'd patch it up and give it a paint and decorate and hope that it basically holds together. You'd rent it out, you get a reasonable yield. You'd have the nastiest property on a reasonably nice street, and yeah, you could sell it, but it'll always be for cheap, and it'll never go up like the other properties will. And back in the back of your mind, you'll know that you've got a ticking time bomb, i.e. the roof will have to be replaced someday, or the ceilings will collapse or something like that. Or there's some nasty lurking issue underneath the render, the stone facade. And the problem is, by the way, that if you get a surveyor to go and have a look at it, they won't know what's going on behind there because they're not going to drill holes. So surveyors do visual inspections of things. They're just looking for cracks. So they'll flag up the issue on the back. We already know there's an issue. But on the front, the surveyor will have no idea what's going on. So we don't know. And I don't like mysteries. I don't know about you, but
yeah,
those are bad mysteries, if that makes sense.
Yeah, because it's not a low amount of money, so
yeah, it's just you could buy something much better for 20 grand more, and have a much better time with it, get a bit of extra yield, refinance it because it'll be a nice tidy house, easy to refinance, no problems. Whereas this one, refinancing this, meh. I don't know about that. Okay, all right. Have a really good day, I suppose, when you see this. Anyway, thank you very much.
Thank you.